Look at how prepared. I even took notes this time. I'm telling you. Moving on up, right? Hello everybody and welcome to Lindsay's Little Library. I am here today to share with you my August wrap-up, which, oh my goodness, 11 and a half, well, I'll explain the half. 11 and a half books this month. Crazy. If we rewind a little bit and look at my August TBR, I was not very confident that I would get all that much read. August is a crazy month for us and I'm super impressed that I still was able to manage to read 11 and a half books. This is crazy. So let's get into it since we do have 11 and a half books. Okay, so in August I listened to 6 audiobooks. I read 2 ebooks and 3 physical books. So first one that I finished the month of August is Every 15 Minutes by Lisa Scottolini. Awesome, awesome book. I love Lisa Scottolini. I specifically love to listen to her audiobooks. I happen to have this book on my shelf. I have a couple of them. Probably picked them up on Book Outlet or at a library sale or something. But I truly enjoy listening to her audiobooks. Highly, highly suggest them. So this book is about a character, Dr. Eric Parrish. He's the chief psychiatrist at the local hospital. Really, really great in his field. He's going through a divorce, or he just went through a divorce. He's got a daughter that he's trying to take care of, and he deals with a little bit of anxiety himself, so there's some changes that are happening. So he starts helping this one patient named Max, and he has a couple of sessions with him, and he quickly realizes that Max is a troubled kid. So he's trying to help him out. And in trying to help him out, he gets wrapped up in this craziness, and a girl ends up dead, and somehow Max is involved. Therefore, Eric is kind of involved as well. So, fantastic book, full of twists and turns I didn't see coming, didn't even predict the end, and I mean, I had a little bit to go and I had no clue where it came from. Complete surprise. Fantastic book, gave it 4 stars. Next up, our summer of Harry Potter finally came to an end. We, right after school let out, my husband and I started reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to our kids, specifically our oldest daughter. She's 8, so she was really the one into it. My other 2 kids, they'd kind of come and go as we were reading, but totally got into it. We finished the book. I think we finished it on a Sunday night at like 7:30, and she was immediately like, absolutely 100%, we have to watch the movie right now. So loved the book. I loved visiting this world again. I loved watching her experience this world, you know, as we read it and then as we watched the movie, and her sharing her thoughts on, you know, what was different and how she pictured certain things and how she thought things kind of happened in her head and what they look like in her head, and kind of watching that come to life as she watched the movie. So it was really, really great. I absolutely loved it. I think we're going to move on to the next book next summer. So I'm going to love being able to kind of watch her grow up with Harry Potter. So awesome book. Love it. Love it. 5 stars as always. Then the craziness of our August began, and I started to kind of get into my audiobook binging at that time. I started with kind of a guilty pleasure. If you recall back to my August TBR, I kind of let the Overdrive app choose what was my next book I listened to. It was kind of like whatever was available on that day is what I downloaded and what I started listening to, and this was it. The Selection by Kira Cass. And I became addicted to this, my friends. I finished The Selection. I finished The Elite. I finished The One. And today I finished The Air. So 4 of them. I only have 2 of them. I listened to all of them on audio. Totally guilty pleasure reads here. Now, don't pick up these books and expect fantastic literary fiction here. Don't expect award-winning stories. It's completely guilty pleasure read, but I loved it. I love getting wrapped up into it. There's room for improvement for sure, but I don't care. Sometimes I just need these kind of books, and in August, I desperately needed these kinds of books. Ones I didn't have to put a whole lot of thought into, or didn't, they were great. They're fantastic. So I will explain what The Selection is. I'm not going to go into the other ones because that's going to spoil things, and I don't want to be a spoiler. So The Selection is about think Hunger Games slash The Bachelor kind of come together. So it's a bit of a dystopian world that we live in, and the prince selects kind of the next queen, really, or the next princess, through the selection process. So anybody in the kingdom can apply to be selected. He picks 35 girls that come to the palace and live with him, and then he whittles them down to finally the one that he is going to marry. So Prince Maxim is the main character from the prince side of things, and then we have America's Singer, who doesn't really buy into the whole selection thing, has really no interest in doing it, ends up signing up for other reasons, and is sent to the kingdom and goes through the selection process. So I'm going to leave you there. Again, fantastic. Love them. Totally guilty reads. I have, I think, 2 left that I have to finish, which I'm anticipating finishing soon because, like I said, I'm really enjoying listening to them. So completely binging these. Awesome books. So that brought, I think I gave 4 stars to pretty much all of them, to all 4 books that I read. So great books. Next up, I ended up finishing Reading People by Anne Bogle. This is a book about how to see the world through the lens of Reading People, How Seeing the World Through the Lens of Personality Changes Everything. I had the honor to be part of the launch team for this book. This comes out September 19th. Mark your calendars, grab the book. Plus, it's super, super pretty. Look at that. It's awesome, isn't it? And check it out. Hold on. I got a bookmark and it's signed. But anyways, I finished this book in August. A full review I'm going to have up in a day or so that you can absolutely go and check out and hear my thoughts about this book. I have a lot of them. If I said them now, this video would be way too long, so I'm going to do its own review video by itself. So 4 stars for this one. Really enjoyed it, and I'll leave a link to the video below if I can. Otherwise, check it out on my channel. Then we came to a couple more audiobooks. The next one that was available, again, I needed an audiobook to listen to, was Everyone Brave is Forgiven by Chris Cleave, a World War II historical fiction book set in London, kind of around the time I think the war just broke out, and she's a teacher and helps the kids kind of escape London, go live in the country, that type of thing. I did this on audio. I got about, what page is this? I don't know, 100 pages into it, and I could not finish it. Again, I was listening to audiobooks while I was helping my husband take care of our own little business that we have. August is a crazy busy month for that. So I need audiobooks to kind of fill my days as I'm helping him out. And I couldn't concentrate on it. The narrator wasn't fantastic, and I need a good narrator in an audiobook to stay engaged. So I'm not saying I'm never going to go back to this book. It just wasn't right for me at that moment. So I'm still keeping the book. I'm keeping my bookmark in there. It's going to sit on my nightstand or sit on my shelf. I do have intentions of picking it up and actually reading it. It was just the audiobook wasn't working for me. So then I, again, let my Overdrive app kind of determine what I picked up next, and Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe was available. So I downloaded that one and listened to that book. It was okay. Now, this book has won a number of awards out there. It's talked about all over BookTube. I will agree the cover is beautiful, but it was okay, and I think there's a lot of hype around it that I was expecting a really fantastic book, and the fact that I just got an okay book was a bit disappointing. So what this book centers around is Aristotle and Dante. Aristotle is kind of an angry teen, keeps to himself. His family's got some secrets. His brother's in prison. He doesn't really know why. He's kind of this down on his luck kid. And he meets Dante and becomes friends with him, and Dante's super confident, super positive, super energetic, and just kind of this opposite of Aristotle. And so they develop this friendship. They go through quite a few things along the way, and it was good. It was good. But after all the hype, I was expecting something really fantastic, and it wasn't that for me. So I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I did finish it. I listened to it on audio again, and it was fine. So I'm glad I don't own it, if that makes sense. So then we bring in the e-reader. And our book club chose The Neverlist by Zoe Zahn for our book for September, but we meet at the beginning of the month, so I always have to read it the month before. Awesome book, people. Awesome, awesome book. Psychological thriller. It is about 2 friends who go off to school together, and they're a little worried about being out in the real world and in college, and kind of nervous about what's going to happen. So they make this list called the Never List. It's a list of things they will never ever do. So they're very cautious about things. They always go in pairs. They're all about locking their door. They're very cautious about things. They do end up, I mean, they're also college girls, so they end up going to a party one night. They call for a taxi, and the taxi comes, picks them up, and then they're stuck in a cellar for 3 years. Not good. They eventually, fast forward to 10 years after they escape from the cellar, and our main character Sarah is still fighting, still dealing with what happened in the cellar, as well as the fact that she escaped the cellar, but her friend Jennifer did not. So it's bugging her, and there's some other stuff that happens. Fantastic. I could not put this down. It was awesome, awesome book. Pick this up. Do it. Do it. Then we went to another ebook because I was on an ebook roll, and I had downloaded, I'm sure you guys know by now that Jodi Picoult is one of my all-time favorite authors. I need to do a video on all the books I have. It's ridiculous. There's tons of them right up over there. But she does, every so often, she releases some short stories through Kindle, and her latest one is called Mermaid, and it's so awesome. Look at this. It moves. It's like a flippin' movie. Isn't that so cool? So it's her latest kind of Kindle single little short story that they released. This is about Hope, who is a marine biologist, and she has kind of a magical pond in her backyard. And that's about all I can say, because it's a short story. There's a lot that happens in those little pages, but awesome book. Jodi Picoult never disappoints, trust me. It's very cool. Plus this whole new way they're doing things with these books. Yeah, sign me up. Alright, so then, because it was August, and I'm sure you've been following along so far, and know that I've been playing a bingo game with my local library. So I had to read a couple of books to fill out my bingo card, and I did that. So I read The Clouds Roll Away by Sabella Glorello. Wow, bad at names. This is about Raleigh. She is, I think this is part of a series. I want to say it's like the 2nd or 3rd book, which it's okay. You don't need to read the first couple of books, but there's some parts of it where I was like, oh, that must have happened in the first book. But it didn't take away from the story. So she comes back home. She's an FBI agent, and she is dealt a case that is a hate crime. So basically, the KKK is back and tormenting an African-American rap star, basically. So she's on that case, as well as she gets roped into like a drug task force case that she's also working on. And it talks about kind of her coming back home and being back with her mom, and then dealing with these couple of cases that are going on. So perfect mystery book, but it's set in winter, which is what I needed for my bingo sheet. Done. And also, don't tell the library, but I'm like 4 days past due on this, but I needed to have it for my video today, so they keep emailing me overdue notices, and I'm like, hey, I gotta film, people. Do they not understand? And then the last one was a collection of short stories called Sauerland by Joyce Carol Oates. These are short stories center around grief and the loss of a loved one. Probably my first ever 1-star rating I've ever given a book. It was not good. I read enough of the short stories to count for my bingo card, but let's just say we skimmed a lot. It's just, I didn't get it. I didn't get how they tied together. I didn't get the point of some of them. I just couldn't. So here it is. It's going back to the library. Glad it's going there. Not a huge fan. So, and it's not like I don't like short stories, but you gotta grab my attention, guys. And there needs to be a point to it. There were no point to any of these. None. Nothing exciting happened. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. Who knows? But that is my 11.5, because I'm counting this as half, because by golly, I got through half of it and I'm getting credit for it. So that's my 11.5 books that I read this month. Awesome month. Can't guarantee it's going to happen again, but it was great. So let me know if you've read any of these books yourself and what you thought. Let me know if you are addicted to the selection like I am, if that's your little guilty pleasure, and we can just all be guilty pleasures together or something. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe below, and I will see you next time. Bye.